This is how we do when we reppin' that white and blue here at the FSU.
Hey, this is Bill McMillan, and welcome to Capel Arena in this session of Chalk Talk with Coach Eva Patterson-Heath. Coach, as we look at the season, the Lady Broncos are on fire. You're 14-2 overall, undefeated in the conference, winners of 12 of your last 13 games, 6 in a row. How would you grade your team's performance so far?
I feel like we are moving in the right direction. Being 6-0 is really adds a lot of confidence to the team, but there's still a lot of improving to go. We're still, as of yet, to put together a good 40-minute game. There have been periods of times during all of our games where we've had lulls of not being able to score and not allowing our opponents to score. So, 6-0 is really good for the girls, but we still have some growing to do.
First place in the Southern Division of the CIAA, and Coach, as we look at it, what areas do you feel like you still need to improve on in order to get to that championship, to bring home that banner here in Capel Arena?
As I just said, again, putting together 40-minute games, that's one of the areas that certainly needs to be improved on. Turnovers, we can always decrease our turnovers. Decision making is getting better. Free throw shooting is getting better. And then getting some assistance from our bench is another area of improvement.
And those are all going to help the Broncos as they get into really the meat of the CIAA schedule. It's really going to start next week with our game at Johnson C. Smith, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. But you played a lot of non-conference games early in the season. Your girls spent some time on the road. How does that help with camaraderie and building team spirit and really bring that team together and getting them used to playing in hostile environments?
At one point in time, we felt like the road was good for us. And we did. We had a tough non-conference schedule. We were over at Shaw University and played at that time the number 17th ranked team in the nation, Nova Southeastern. And the girls just came out and played a really, really good game that evening. And then we finished it up against Washington Adventist. We were over at Mount Olive right after Christmas. And it was sort of a warm-up game for us as we got ready as we prepared for our conference play. I felt like time kind of ran out on us in that game. We came out sluggish, but we put together a better second half than we did the first half and actually outscored them the second half. But as I said, time ran out and we were unable to win that game. The Christmas holidays was a time where we were on campus pretty much by ourselves, and they relied on each other and put in a lot of time in the gym and preparation for the conference. So that was a good gelling period for us as well.
Yeah, the team really seems tight. It really seems like they've bonded well together and they like each other and they enjoy playing with you. And there's a lot of respect there, I think, between the girls, and I'm sure that's got to aid you and when what you're trying to message you're trying to get across.
It does. We have 9 seniors. So that in itself speaks to the urgency behind what it is that they want to do. They don't have any time for anyone who's not on the same page with them, and all of the players are on the same page at this point. And so we're continuing to get better, setting small goals for each game, and just continuing to work to be a better team as we move into the division play of CIAA.
All right, and at 14-2, they've accomplished a lot of goals already this season. We're going to take a quick break and come back for some more Chalk Talk with Coach Eva Patterson-Heath.
It's about to be on that FSU. Attitude check, what's up? FSU. FSU. I feel that. FSU.
Hey, this is Bill McMillan. We're back here at Capel Arena for another session of Chalk Talk with women's basketball coach Eva Patterson-Heath. And Coach, as we look at some of the players, then the one that jumps out immediately has got to be Kristen Hanser, the transfer from UNC Wilmington, averages 19 points a game. She's just been a great big wow for your team this season.
Absolutely. She is a complete student athlete, loves the game. She's playing with no cartilage in her knee, so she's not able to practice every day. But we know what we're going to get from her anytime she steps on the floor. It's all hard 100% of the time from her.
Yeah, she seems to really play with reckless abandon. We see her diving for loose balls, and she's in there in the paint mixing it up with the big girls, and gets pounded to the floor, and she just get right back up again.
She seems to be a rubber band type player because she stretches herself to the limits and then she pops right back into place.
You know, while she's the focal point of the offense, it seems like the girl that really sets the table is Akeisha Resper, who's really your point guard on the floor, your general, and does a great job of distributing the basketball and making sure the ball's in the right place at the right time.
Yes, Akeisha has stepped into a different role. Last year she was our primary scorer, and this year we've asked her to be our point guard, and she's received that request and has moved forward with it, and certainly does set the tone for us. She's a great on-ball defender, and she also can see the court very well. And so she runs the show for us. She makes us who we are.
That's great. You've got her at the top, and in the paint you've got Shanonda Ashford, and she has just she gets the tough rebounds, she scores the tough points, and she seems like she's really got a lot of heart and is playing with a lot of effort this season.
She does, and she's a local kid. She graduated from E. Smith High School, and she played at East Carolina. She's also a transfer in for us. She was voted captain by her teammates, which speaks to her leadership ability, and she understands in that role that it's really not about her, but it's about making sure that her teammates are just carrying out the goals and objectives of the coaching staff. Shaq is what we call her. She can step out and knock down the three, and she's also a force on the inside.
So a great player is Shaq Ashford. We talked a little bit about the big three, but is there a player or two that really have exceeded your expectations and really they're past where you thought they would be at this point of the season and contributing more than you had hoped for, but pleasantly surprised?
Well, maybe not exceeded our expectations, but Tiara Coleman, we felt like she had the capabilities to play in the manner in which she's playing at this point. Rhea Robinson, our 6'4" center, went down with an ACL tear in early December and had surgery on December the 12th. And so we called on Tiara to step in and take her place, and she's performed as in a manner that we were looking for her from the beginning, from her career here at Fayetteville State.
That's awesome. In spite of adversity, the Lady Broncos continue to lead the way in the CIAA. In our next session, we're going to talk about this weekend's games here at Capel Arena and preview the Johnson C. Smith game coming up next weekend in Charlotte. I'm Bill McMillan, and we'll be right back.
It's about to be on that FSU attitude check. What's up, FSU? FSU.
Hi, this is Bill McMillan, and we're back at Capel Arena for this session of Chalk Talk with Coach Eva Patterson-Heath. Coach, we had a great weekend here at Capel Arena. 3 big games, 3 big victories. Let's go through each one of those games. You had the game against Lincoln on Thursday night. Big win for the Lady Broncos.
It was. We'd just come off the road, and we wanted to come home and defend our home court. I felt like we were a little nervous getting out of the gate, being back at home after being on the road for so long. But we managed to pull together and grind out a win there.
That's great. Then Saturday night, big crowd here at Capel Arena, the Battle of the Dorms, all the students on hand, and Virginia Union came in, and it seems like they might have been a little bit intimidated by the crowd and a little overmatched by a great team that you've got assembled so far.
It may have appeared that way, but they still fought on the court. VUU is a really good team. They're young. They were one of the better teams last year in their division, and we knew that it wasn't going to be easy. We knew that we had to improve from the Lincoln game, and we felt like as a staff that we did make improvements. We were a little calmer coming out of the gate, and the girls ended up getting a great win.
All right, and then last night right here in Capel Arena, Bowie State comes in the last game of their 3-game road trip. Kind of a streaky game for the girls. It seemed like they would get good and then they would slack off, not slack off, but then they would have a lull as we talked about earlier, but then they really came out in the second half and finished them off.
Yeah, that again speaks to our being able to put together a complete 40-minute game. I thought at one point in time that we were up by 27, and I felt like we just put it on cruise control. And of course, Bowie is not going to roll over. No one in the CIAA is just going to roll over and let you have a win. And so, you know, they made some baskets, gained some confidence, and we had to get back in and just, you know, finish the game.
All right, and now this Saturday night, 5:30 tip-off in Charlotte versus the Golden Bulls. They're a little down this year. They're not probably quite where we thought they were going to be. They've still got an explosive guard in Brittany Dorsett and a great forward in LaKendra Wilkinson. What's the game plan to go into Charlotte and come out with a victory?
Well, we're just going to have to, again, you know, I'll keep saying this over and over again, put together that 40-minute game. I feel like our defensive efforts on time or at periods of time has been really good. Our half-court offensive execution has been really good at points of time. But we really want, as I said, to put together a 40-minute period of time. We're on the road. The CIAA is so tough. Going into someone else's home. No one wants to lose at home, so you know, we're just going to rally together and play some defense and see what happens.
All right, the first place Lady Broncos going to Charlotte, and of course we want to offer you congratulations, CIAA Coach of the Week last week. Way to go, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to wrap up this session of Chalk Talk with Coach Eva Patterson-Heath. Check back next week as we recap the game at Johnson C. Smith and continue to look at the rest of the schedule for the Lady Broncos. For Chalk Talk, I'm Bill McMillan.